No.
Recording. Cool. Yeah. Hello. Hello, everybody. Cheers up. Cheers up. Yeah. It's me. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for having me today here with the opportunity to, drink beer and speaking. That's cool stuff. And yes, my name is Denis. I work at Microsoft. Here are a couple of links where you can reach me out. And today's talk not going to be related to my work at Microsoft in any way. Today's talk going to be about what I'm doing in my spare time, which is I'm doing a lot of JSON viewing and expecting. Do you know what JSON is? Who knows? Everybody knows, yeah, for sure. JSON, or JavaScript Object Notation, is basically the handy way of serializing, deserializing, transferring data. That's super easy and powerful tool. And where are we using the JSON? Basically, we're using JSON in various API responses and some configuration files like PragueJS, package-log.json, and we have huge files of JSON data when we have some webpack stats or CPU profiles, etc. But when it comes to viewing JSON, we could use, code editor for sure, or we could use browser. And in a browser, how it looks like, let me demonstrate it. So here I have the browser, and let's say we go. Let me first make sure that I don't have any JSONViewer enabled, and we go to some API. It's just a bunch of text and letters, whatever, so super uncomfortable. But what to do with this? How to make it prettier? Of course, we can go and once again show. Of course, we can go and enable some JSONViewer. Bunch of JSONViewers are available for the browser. You might use one. For instance, this one is super popular, 2 million active users. What is going to look like if you just fire it up? Much nicer, right? So you can see the syntax highlighting. You can, for instance, fold, unfold stuff. It's nicer. It's nicer. But what if I say that there is a way how you can make it more beautiful? Using the JsonDiscovery, of course, the topic. Basically, the topic I'm going to be talking today. What is a JsonDiscovery? That's basically the JSONViewer. And it is available for Chromium-based browsers and for Firefox, and we will ship it for Safari soon. I hope so. It's powered by Discovery.js framework, and it's available on GitHub, Chrome Web Store, Mozilla DOS. And let me show how it looks like. Once again, there are going to be a lot of demos today. So yeah, buckle up. Okay, we enable JsonDiscovery and we go here. Boom, we have pretty much the same, right? So it looks similar, I would say. But yeah, we have copy to clipboard, we can download file, we can fold, unfold. Pretty much the same. We of course can see the raw data, raw JSON. It's looking similar. Cool. But you might ask me, what the difference? But there is already JsonViewer. Why the heck do you need this? Okay, there are two aspects actually why we need JsonDiscovery and why it's better. First is performance, and second is analysis. And let's first start with the performance. Let's imagine that we need to create this JsonViewer browser extension. How would we develop this stuff, right? We have the page in the browser that has some JSON as a content. We have some code, extension code, that we have to run in the same page to get its content. Once content is loaded, we get to parse it, and we get to build some user interface to demonstrate this JSON. Pretty logical, right? But are there any problems in this approach? How do you need this?
It doesn't need to be valid JSON.
Performance bottleneck.
Performance bottleneck. Yeah, at first, yeah, it got to be the valid JSON, that's for sure. But if it's not valid JSON, we just break and like fall back, for instance, like for the plain text, right? But even if it's valid JSON, there are some problems. First, content strip script executed on every page. If it's heavy, we kind of adding some like overhead to our pages. JSON parse is kind of expensive, and it's even doesn't work in some cases for large amounts of data, especially. We have to wait until the document loaded to parse its content, because it's like kind of without the content we can't just basically parse JSON, and that makes browser unresponsive. So basically, while we waiting for this loading, and then we like parsing, and that's really ugly. So yeah, let me first demonstrate this. Once again, one more demo. For instance, I have this JSON, the most popular viewer, and I would like to open some file. For instance, this 90 megabyte JSON. You can have a beer. That's 90 megabytes of data. Yeah. Who wants a beer? I can go grab it. Yeah, we still. Yeah, here we go. Now we have it. But what if we use our extension? The same file. Oh. Here it is. It's just instant.
No beer.
No beer. You can't even go and have a beer. You can probably have a beer afterwards, right?
Sorry, isn't it been run now? Like, isn't it already loaded?
Yeah, it's already loaded, so yeah, you can use it.
No, I mean like because you already have loaded it into the memory, so it's fast now.
Yes.
Because it's in Euro, in its location. So just open once again and use that.
You mean what?
You
Like,
open
whether it was
and
cached
open
or
file.
it probably doesn't matter for 90 megabytes.
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
I can open it in yeah, once again, what's this file?
No, let's use this 2 gigabyte file.
Okay.
I have 2 gigabits file, but yeah, let's keep it for later. Yeah. But
Okay, that's impressive.
yeah, that was like short demo of how it works. And in some cases, you can't parse string if string size is more than 512 megabytes. That's the restriction, that's the limitation of the V8 or whatever engine you are using. Firefox is probably 1 gigabyte, but it's kind of limit. So we can't just grab the string and parse it, and it's super hard to parse this in one chunk. So in Discovery, in JsonDiscovery, we have another different approach. We have the same page with some content in it, and we have some small chunk of initialization code, or that's the beer word. Okay, first we test document, if it's JSON-like. If it is, we asynchronously load the main bundle of the application. So first we make sure that, yeah, we're sure this is the JSON, so we get to work. And then documents start loading, and we stream parse this document. So we don't wait until the document is loaded itself. Basically, once chunks of data comes, we parse them and we show the user the preloader. So user is aware that something is happening and the page is responsive. So basically, we're not really hanging. Once we done with the loading, we show this beautifully created discovery.js user interface, which I will cover later. And here we go. So for the preloader, first we apply some heuristics to check if the document is JSON-like, so we don't have to rely on, for instance, I don't know, the extension of the file, which is JSON, obviously, or some headers like application content or whatever. We basically check if the content looks like JSON, we try to parse it. And we disable rendering of the JSON, the text itself in the browser, because that's probably the heaviest part, and that hangs the browser, because browser tries to calculate the whole page and all line breaks in this page. And we roll back if parser encountered wrong JSON. So for the preloader, if we have some content on the page, we first ask the page, hey, is it a JSON? If it's not so, like what is JSON actually? What can we take as a JSON? For instance, this is a valid JSON as well. So we have null, we have some Boolean value, we have some string. But in these cases, we don't care because, like, who cares, right? You can have the valid JSON, which is just a string. So why do you need this viewer or whatever, or just simple true or false? But we kick our code in only if it's some complicated object, some complicated array, whatever. And in this case, yeah, we run the code, and in this case, we have the problem with the browser because browser tries to calculate this line lengths to render a lot of data. So we hide this to make it faster, basically. And this is important. Okay, let's fire up this huge file, right? Why not?
2 gigabytes?
2 gigabytes.
What?
Yes. Okay.
It's not actually visible on.
Okay. Let's try to run this.
Dennis, we don't
Wow.
see anything.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sorry. Yeah. So this is extension, the JSONViewer. This one. Okay. 1.9 gigs. That's pretty fast. At least it's fast, right? So, at least it's fast. But it's basically not working. Yeah, we can try with another extensions, whatever, like extension. For instance, the latest version. We can try it. Oh, it does something. See, longer loader, but yeah, but still, no snap. So, okay. Let's try discovery.json. Ouch.
I think they're loader.
Yeah, we see the preloader. Basically, we can calculate how many data we already processed, and we can show this preloader. And once it's loaded, yeah, here we go. We have the page. It's pretty responsive. You can work with this page. So yeah, everything in place.
Can
Yeah.
you compare it to the native version? Because, like, if I understand correctly, you should be faster than the native one.
Just without any extension.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure, yeah, but it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna surprise you basically. Yeah, browser breaks.
Imagine, Dennis, what did you do?
Browser tries to calculate this stuff and it basically breaks in some cases. Yeah, probably Firefox will do it, like will load text, but yeah, probably it will show apparently. But yeah, I will show the benchmarks a bit sooner. Yeah, actually it's gonna be pretty soon. Let's get back to the presentation. And yeah, and there should have been a slide with benchmarks actually. I already spoiled this, right? But once I started like trying to, measure some like processing time, I encountered this beautiful warning message like oversized, sorry, but you can highlight it anyway. So yeah, which I did actually. I highlighted it anyway, and I found the setting that you can basically change to make this happen. And they say like, hey, 400 kilobytes of JSON is enough to you. And that reminded me of something. Exactly about this. Yeah, Bill Gates basically was exaggerating it for a bit, like, because they not 640, but 400 kilobytes will be enough for everybody. Okay, anyway, the benchmarks. Here we can see that without extensions, in some cases, yeah, browser will not break and it will even load this. So it depends on the environment. Like sometimes, basically, some RAM shortage. But yeah, the fastest JSONViewer, that's basically JSONViewer v2. We have 12 seconds and we have 10 times faster JSON discovery. So here it is. The approach is basically load small initializer first and get rid of this if it's not a JSON. So apply some heuristics and check if document is JSON. Then load the main extension bundle, the main code, stream parse JSON using JSONX, and render view using fast user interface by discovery.js. JSONX is basically a set of utilities which allow you to stream parse or stringify streams, for instance. So you can have this tool and you can overcome these limitations with the strings and JSON parsing. It's a part of Discovery.js ecosystem as well. You have GitHub link here and benchmarks if you're interested in this too. Okay, we covered performance. Let's go further to the
One
analysis.
question for the performance.
Mhm.
So like, I understood like you don't show any kind of usable UI until you parse the whole JSON. So is the JSON streaming parsing faster than the normal JSON parse?
No, of course not. On small amounts, it's a bit slower since it's kind of in chunks. Yeah, but if the chunk is too small, of course it's gonna be some like super small overhead. Yeah, it's a little bit slower than just But once it's got bigger, we will win here. But that's like milliseconds. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thanks.
okay, analysis. What is analysis? So first you have a data. You got to structure this data. You got to get some visualizations and gain some insights from this data. That's the process of analysis. But how to analyze data in the JSONViewer? Is it somehow possible? Of course, it's possible when you're using Discovery.js. Yeah, I'm going to be selling this product here. Yeah, on every slide. So, what is Discovery.js? That's the basement of the extension. Of course, that's hackable JSON discovery tool, or how we call it, JSON Analytics Meta Framework. And it's ecosystem of the product. So, like JSONX, which I already mentioned, Jora, etc., including JSON Discovery. And you can get it from the GitHub. It was originally created by Roman Dvarnov. Hey Roman, where are you? Yeah, here it is. So you can find a couple of articles describing what Discovery.js does, or like some documentation. And it used in a couple of projects like Statoscope, that's the stat analyzer for the Webpack, or CPU profiler, CPU profile viewer, CPU Pro. Okay, so what can we do with JSON Discovery and using Discovery.js? We can have various copying options. We can copy some stuff. We can sort keys. We can inspect some data using tables. We can inspect the whole document using table. We can infer some types. So you have some document. You don't have what the entities inside of this document, but you can infer the type. You can check what the contents of these entities. You can search through these entities. You can do some rapid analysis out of the box. So basically you can see the distribution of the values in some keys of your JSON data, or like this, for instance. And of course, it's getting more interesting when we click in this discover button. That's the crucial part here. What is the discover? Why it's called discovery actually? The discover mode lets you to query data using Jora language, the special language for querying JSON data. You can visualize this data, and you can share your work with the others. But let me once again show you this slide. Okay, so once again we are in Chrome, and we have some data. That's ugly. Okay, let's enable something. Discover. Okay, it's much nicer. I can make it a little bit bigger. So what we have here, for instance, we can copy some stuff. Copy JSON of actual object here, for example, or copy JSON formatted component for this object. Of course, you can sort the keys alphabetically. You can make a table out of this object, or you can make a table out of the whole document. But this is not really cool because it's cards. We can do this. You can, for example, sort names in this table. You can do whatever like visualizations here. Yeah. You can, as I already said, copy to clipboard, fold and fold, and all of that stuff. And you can infer the type. So as we can see here, we have the object, which contains all these fields. For example, some fields don't, like some entities, some objects here, we don't have subtypes. See here the optional, because the type is optional. And of course, clicking by this, you can see that we have some subtypes, We can see the distribution, or we can have the names. We can see the distributions of the names. We can search for, let's say, what is this? Air. Yeah, air elemental. So that's what we can do right out of the main view of the discovery. But we can go further and click Discover button, and we enter in the discovery mode. Here, for example, I would like to have the dashboard, like the presentation of the cards, for example, that have power bigger than 2. Because I already did it, and I know how to. Yeah, so I'm saying like cards with power bigger than 2. First of all, we have this data, right? We have cards object, array of cards. I mean, we have some cards. We have to somehow structure this data. First, what can we do? We have the suggestions, of course. We can say, hey, I need cards, and I need to filter these cards by power. Okay, I can use power bigger than 2. And I need also image URL for this, because I would like to show like in a beautiful way with the pictures. Okay, so what we have here is 8 elements in this array with the cards which has power bigger than 2. Now we can visualize this. We can, of course, go with the table as I already showed, so the same table, but we can use the custom view. We can specify the view, and we can use it. We have 60 views available for the visualization, so you can choose one of them and use it. But yeah, I already know the documentation, so I can use inline list. Here, I need the item. I need the header. So here we see the names of the cards, and I need view image source. It's going to be image URL. Here we go. We have a bunch of cards right here, right away. We can click this button and get the beautiful representation. So the whole page is basically showing what we just visualized. And as you can see here in the address bar, we have some data encoded. That's basically what we just did, encoded in the URL. So we can copy this URL, and here I have the Firefox. I can click this Firefox, load this link, and yes, we have a dark mode, of course. And here's the same shared across the browsers. And here more, I can click this button back. I go to the same editing view, so I can use the same data or the same queries. Change something, for instance, I would like to have more power, or power bigger than 3. So yeah, here we go, filter data, visualized, and yeah, we of course can get back, or we can use the inspector mode. We can check what we have here. We can go through the visualizations to see what data we have in this piece of view. Inspect it in some way. If you need, we can make it bigger. Debug it if the view is like not showing what we were expecting. And yeah, here we go. Or we can use discovery, the JsonDiscovery, to visualize the whole pages. For instance, this is Node.js documentation made by Discovery. Basically, we have some tree of methods. We have some examples that are code highlighted. We have some links in it, so a whole bunch of documentation. If you want to check how it looks like without any, yeah, here's the same in a white theme, but if we disable the extension, we will get just plain JSON here. So out of this JSON, you can make the whole sites, I would say, pages, sites. And yeah, of course, here we can click this button. We can get to the editing mode, and we can see that we query in some data. We do some visualization, and that produces this beautiful page. Okay, get back to the presentation.
Just a question. So this here is Discovery.js, or this is JSONDiscovery?
JSONDiscovery is based on Discovery.js, but you can use Discovery.js standalone, you can like have this like service running Discovery.js, producing some data. Like you can grab some data, produce through the Discovery.js, and get the same visualizations. Here, just handy like tool that you can use like when you inspecting whatever JSON you have. Okay, so getting back to discovery mode. So basically, we have some queries. We can use these queries to create some visualizations. We can use some views in our view library or views showcase. We can inspect these views using debugger. We can have a dark mode, of course. In 2024, you can't go without dark mode, of course. We can query. We have query trees you can use, and many more features in it. So next time you're gonna be expecting some JSON data without the proper tool, you might see some garbage in it. But once you get the proper tool, you can see a lot more in this data. So get yourself a proper tool, install JsonDiscovery, of course, and yeah, start gaining the insights from your data today. And thank you.
Any questions in the crowd?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Who first?
Yes. What's the motivation? I understand it has some added value when people use it, but what's the motivation to create it? Because it's a lot of work to create such things.
Yeah, of course, the Discovery.js came first, since it was the need of the tool that can process some data. Because like what the actual work with some prototyping, some analysis it looks like, right? So you have some data, then you store this data somewhere. Let's say in a database. You query this data in some way, and then you try to build some visualization with this data. But once you have the changes, like for instance, the structure of the data should be changed. You have to query this data once again from the database, rebuild this blah blah blah, and do whatever we basically do. But with the Discovery.js, you can basically load a whole bunch of data inside of a browser and do rapid analysis. So basically, you don't have to wait. You basically do it on the fly. You work with this data, you change the visualizations on the fly, you do it much faster. And yeah, there was a task actually. There was Roman is smiling, so probably he's not agreeing with me.
What was your motivation, Roman? Why you motivated?
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, so basically it was Denis actually answered. So we're working with JSON data, so output from different tools like Webpack, Jest, whatever. So we're working with a lot of logs and so on, and we need to get insight from this data. So typical tools just show you JSON itself, so just strings and numbers and so on. And it consumes a lot of time to understand what the problem is with this data, what we can get from it, and how we can get some numbers or metrics or whatever. So it's just a tool for rapid analysis, first of all, and then we built different tools based on it. JsonDiscovery is just one presentation of this.
That's the rendering engine, I would say. That's basically
yes. It's like utility for your daily tasks. So it's not just something special. But besides that, I developed recently a CPU profile tool, which get your very deeply insights into CPU profiles. So it's like developer tools. When you record the profile
In browser or Node.js, it's again JSON.
so yeah, it provides
Yeah, but
much more details, so it's much more chart and so on. So yeah.
First initially, the task was basically to create the not create the tool. We had a bunch of artifacts we were gathering from the code, such as ASTs and whatsoever. But with this JSON data, you can store it. You can break it down, for instance, and store it in some databases, and then using it querying from databases and stuff. But we were trying to find a way how to make it possible to work with this data raw. We just get a bunch of JSONs. You just work it with this live. And that's how JSON, well, not JSON, but Discovery.js basically was created. But then we found that hey, it's the cool usage for this tool when you work with, for example, Webpack stats. Since it's a huge JSON, what to do with this JSON? Of course, like you can traverse through this JSON, like break it down to some entities and store it here and there, but yeah, it will be, taking an eternity. But with this tool, it's just easy.
Very nice.
Do you support also other formats based on JSON, like JSON5 or Transit?
Yes, it is the JSON Excel, which is the binary form.
It's another one. Yeah. No, JSON 5 is not supported because it's introduced more complexity in parsing, and it's very suitable for configs, but not for providing a huge amount of data. So no, for JSON 5, but we are going to add support for JSON for instance. It's like a JSON, but it's objects that are split by a new line. So it's used usually for logs and huge amounts of data. And now we are like of the support, and we will add this.
But what about JSON Excel?
JSON Excel, it's secret product.
Yeah, but it's support. Like you can integrate this into the Discovery.
Yes, Discovery can provide it. It's but
Yeah, and you
format, and you can try to play with it, but it's not public yet.
Not public yet, but it's. Yeah. I uncovered some mystery. Spoiler.
I also noticed that when you actually trying to infer the type from the JSON object, you have many strings there. Have you thought about trying to find some metrics in the strings? Let's say if you only have two values which you repeat over and over again in some key, wouldn't be better just to use the type like union of the two strings rather than?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Does it work like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's some kind of a lot of stuff like you have min max average. You have this one. You have some like union types.
Nice.
Denis, according to visualization, you showed your cars. Could you please show something below mine? So, for example, CPU Pro.
CPU Pro?
Yeah.
They
have
on this.
built-in demos.
You mean this huge file? But I don't have CPU Pro installed on this machine, so.
Yeah, you can open it through GitHub.
On GitHub. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
you just open browser and try to search CPU Pro. So it's according to how CPU profile might be visualized using Discovery.js. From the top right corner.
Here. And we can.
You can use built-in profiles.
Built-in.
As below.
Which is the biggest one? Whatever.
Button.
This one. It's the biggest one. No, that's not biggest one, right?
So anyway, it's Discovery.js with a live CPU profile which groups call stacks by modules, by packages, by files, function. So you'll also be able to select some area. Could you just, on the chart you can select some area.
Get some
chart.
But it's not big. Where's the biggest one?
Because we don't have biggest of these.
You can open it in your demo files. It's CPU profiles.
Yeah, that's big one. Let's
No.
I'm going to share more private information.
How much is
It's obfuscated.
That's obfuscated, but yeah, that's probably that's the same 2 gigs,
2 gigs?
and it's built on top of the. Roman is worrying because he wasn't testing on such big probably scale, but yeah, I do believe it works.
Let's see.
Magic.
But actually no,
Awesome.
it opens
Wow.
up big files.
So
Here we have some
how
calls.
long is, could you please scroll up, it's around 15 minutes?
Yeah, 1640. But we can go like this. Yeah, it works. We can go to some calls. We can switch this. Check this. So that's two gigs running inside of the browser. So in the memory it works smooth.
But you are rendering in Canvas or WebGL?
HTML.
HTML?
No, it's and CSS.
So it's plain stuff.
Oh.
Old school.
Is it possible to see could you please click discover button? What's happening under the hood?
Yeah, that's like a huge pile of data that you can work with, and you can query this data, like do visualizations.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm quite interested in, but like my use case is that I get JSON from various APIs, which I don't view in the browser because I need send headers as it's a result of some post endpoint or whatever. So what I understand that I could like save the JSON file somewhere and then like upload it, open it in this tool. Is there some streamlined tool which I would imagine it integrated in something like
something like Postman or something like that, but with integrated discovery. There was an idea to do so, but we basically for some reason we didn't make it. But we have the graphical, if you know this GraphQL querying tool with integrated discovery basically. So you can compose some GraphQL queries and get discovery as a viewer. But we don't have the REST stuff.
But you can use it as application for your data on your own servers. It's just HTML, so it's don't rely on any server. So you just build a static application which loads data with your headers as you want it. So it's a separate page with all necessary headers. As well as you can use it as a widget. So you can inject it, integrate it in your application, plus like a widget in iframe or just like a regular component and load data into.
It's just 800 kilobytes and mostly half of it is just
No, it's 1 megabyte.
1 meg.
Crazy.
It's 1
Crazy
megabyte.
big, crazy big fat piece of software.